What's going on? It's Dublin. Come eat and drink with me. Today's wine is Ghost Block Estate Cabernet 2020. Ghost Block Estate Cabernet Sauvignon 2020. Why did I choose this wine? Well, for a couple of reasons. One, it's Valley Floor Cabernet Sauvignon, Napa Valley Floor. It is Napa Valley on the bottle. It is not a single vineyard or a smaller AVA, meaning that they can source from anywhere in the AVA of Napa Valley. So I wanted to try this out because I've been talking up a lot about mountain fruit and how delicious and extracted and complex and amazing it is. Well, they make pretty good darn wine on the Valley Floor too. And this one that comes from two really well-known AVAs, produce amazing world-class Cabernet Sauvignon, and that of course is Oakville and Yorkville. Very, very popular wineries come out of there. You know, Rutherford is right around there as well. All incredible wines. You see your Dominus and your like Opus One and so on and so on and so on. Just amazing wines come out of there. And they source from two specific vineyards, Rock Cairn and Ghost Block. Now, you can get Ghost Block, just Ghost Block, which would be a vineyard designate. This is not that, but it is a blend of both of them. So this should be still pretty epic. So a little bit about Ghost Block, this family, and I love to kind of explore and try wineries from families that have been in there for generations. These guys are 5th generation Napa Valley vineyard tenders. And then in 1991, they got certified organic, which again, I like organic, not just because of the name organic, but they're not putting pesticides and certain things into their wines, and they're following and abiding by old farming tactics and rules that, you know, produce usually really good wine. It's not guaranteed, but it's a darn good start. So in 2004 is when they decided to create their own winery and use their own vineyards that they've been tending for generations. What a brilliant idea. Kind of like Pina, look up Pina. Same kind of deal. They've been tending to vineyards for decades and decades, and then in the 90s they're saying, hey, this place is kind of blowing up. Why? We know what we're doing. We own a lot of these vineyards and tend to them. We know them better than anybody. Let's make our own wine. And that's what Ghost Block did. So I thought it was pretty cool. Okay, so you know, back from 1902, the Palissa family came in and they bought up a bunch of vineyards down in Oakville. The rest is history. Now this is an estate wine. It is 96% Cabernet Sauvignon, 2% Petit Verdot, and 2% Malbec. So just a teeny bit of blending grapes in there, probably just, you know, to bring a little bit of that nose out, maybe like a little bit of finish, mid-palate. Maybe they wanted to flesh it out just a touch. But it is primarily Cabernet Sauvignon. It's a pretty high percentage. Usually you're looking at, you know, 15% usually of other blending grapes. And the fact there's no Merlot in here at all, I also find that kind of interesting because usually with Merlot, you're going for that fleshiness and that mid-palate. So they're going for strong and bold, maybe because it is Valley Floor, they want as much concentration as possible. I don't know, I'm not the winemaker. Christy Coford is, who is also been around for a long time, very good winemaker. She came in around 2001, Napa Wine Company was a winemaker there, and I think still is winemaker there, along with Ghost Block and a few others, as is very common for most Napa winemakers. It's usually not just one winery. They consult for a whole bunch of them. That's how they add them all up and actually make a living. So, Rock Cairn in Oakville, Ghost Block in Yorkville. I'm very interested to see what's going on in this glass. Valley Floor, what do you got for us? Give it a little sniffy sniff. See what's going on in that nose, that 96% Cabernet Sauvignon. Interesting. It's almost like a little more red fruit, kind of like raspberries coming out. Definitely a little bit of cassis, but man, it's like right away, it's like, it's not spices, it's almost like a mintiness. That's really, really kind of interesting. Bringing a complexity, it's tying all of those kind of red and black fruits together in the nose, and then you have this nice spicy mintiness coming out. Sometimes people think, you know, well, spice and mint, like it's kind of eucalyptusy. Not quite as spa eucalyptusy. It really does come out as kind of like a, very strong mintiness. Very interesting. I don't always get that out of California wines in general and Napa. That mintiness is more of a, to me, I've got it more like Bordeaux or, even like Loire. Nice nose, interesting. Not smacking me over, not getting bulldozed by it, but it has a nice nose. It has the notes that you're expecting out of a premium wine. This is $95, by the way, so not exactly cheap. But I wanted a good representation of Valley Floor, but not something that's going to absolutely be ridiculously expensive. Like their ghost block is right around like 135, which is even more expensive and kind of crazy. But still, when you think about like compared to like Opus One and whatnot, who are Valley Floor as well, who are in the $300 range, it's ludicrous. But anyway, back to this wine. Let's see what's going on. What can we get for $95 on the Valley Floor in Oakville, in Yountville? Wow. Okay. Just like I thought, definitely a more kind of velvety, polished Valley Floor texture coming through. Like I said, you go up into the mountains, you get like the Howell Mountain, wherever, Stagecoach Vineyard, Pritchard Hill. Those are more extracted, they're more concentrated, definitely more punchy, and a lot more grip and tannins. That's because they're smaller berries up there. It's more stressed up there. They're not getting much water. It's the volcanic soil. Down here on the Valley Floor, it's more of like gravelly loam soil. So you're still getting good drainage, but it's not quite as intense. So pretty interesting. And you have a tendency to get a little bit warmer climate on the Valley Floor, so you get a little bit higher sugar levels, a little more, that fruit forwardness. Tons of blackberry and plum. I mean, gobs of it. The mid palate is nothing but fruit. The finish here, you're getting a little bit of chocolate, definitely getting a touch of that oak on there, but it's kind of coming in like a little bit of a spice and vanilla. It's not too heavy. It is 60% new French oak, so it's not 100%, and it's not American oak, which you get even more of that vanilla. They have a toasted American oak, you're gonna get a ton of vanilla. So that French oak kind of come across as a little more, some vanilla, but a little more of a kind of a spice, as I've said before. So 60%, I think that's a really good kind of average there. I don't think you need 100% oak, especially with these big wines. It's just too much. Let's go in for one more, see what we got. Second sip, I'm not getting a whole lot different. I'm still gonna stick with those plums, those blackberries, those nice, rich, kind of dark fruits coming through. And on the finish, you get a little bit of chocolate, not too much. It's not overly chocolatey at all. And then a really nice kind of vanilla and spice notes coming out. And then you tie that in with the nose, with that mintiness and some of those red fruits. It's really kind of a nice harmony between the two. It's not like an identical nose and an identical palate. Like you're getting a little bit of different notes out of each one, which is really nice. It kind of makes it interesting and elevates the complexity. So yeah, right on. Man, this is a nice glass of wine. It's a really good bottle. For $95, I think, yeah, I think we're hitting its stride. I think this is kind of like where you want to be for that kind of money. Absolutely. With a little more age, I think this could probably get even better. You might get a little more tertiary notes. This is, you're picking out like 3 prevalent kind of flavors. You want to see in the finish, maybe that like 4th and 5th come out, something a little interesting. But overall, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a well-made wine. You can tell this family knows what they're doing in their vineyard. You're getting good fruits out of there. You're not getting anything weird and kind of like fake flavory. I'm going to go out on a limb and say because they're organic, they're not putting in that grape syrup that we know that so many vineyards and wineries through the Napa Valley Floor love to do to their wines. Yep. That's the nasty truth about chaptalization, in American wines, because there's no law saying that they can't do it. So they go ahead and get away with what they can. But this family decided that a long time ago, and even the current generation, we're not going to do that. We're going to tend to our vines and extract the fruit naturally. And we definitely get that through this class. It's good quality. I mean, really unctuous, really coats the mouth. I'm not getting like overly like tannic kind of like chalkiness or that cocoa kind of grip. Man, I mean, this could really go with usually when I think of a Napa Cab, I'm like, ribeye, you need that big, fatty, steak, to where I'm not saying like a New York strip is like super lean or something. We know that's not the case. But this could definitely, I think, pair better with like a New York versus ribeye. Ribeye, I really like those mountain fruits. You could do filet mignon as well with like, some sort of a demi-glaze or any sort of like a Bordeaux sauce or things of that nature. This could handle a lot of different really good red meats. You could even do a little with that mintiness. You could even do probably like a lamb with it. I wouldn't do like rack of lamb, something like a braised leg of lamb. I don't know if you want to do it Moroccan style with some of that mint, but that might kind of go kind of nice with that mintiness in there. So yeah, I think this is a versatile wine. It's well made and you can do a lot of things with it. And I think you'd really enjoy it. I don't think anyone's going to poo-poo on it. It may not be worth the $95. Each to their own. You never know. But I would put a decent rating on this and say that I do think it is worth it compared to some of the wines that are in the $95 area. I've had other $95 bottles that aren't this good, that's for sure. One comes to mind right away. I mentioned Dominus before, which is amazing and super expensive. But their second label, Napa Nook, I've seen it in stores for $95. Kind of crazy. I used to buy that bottle for like $45 not that long ago. And now it's $95. Nowhere near this kind of quality. Not even close. I consider Napa Nook just like a very average kind of weekday pizza wine, whatever. It's not like a bad wine, but it's certainly not going to blow you away. It's not going to have the complexity and really well-roundedness that this does. Maybe we'll revisit it. Maybe they've gotten even better. I don't know. But I know I've drank it before and I liked it, but I wasn't blown away. So yeah, I'm going to say that Ghost Block, for the prices that Napa Valley wines are fetching, I would say this is absolutely a good deal and worth the money. It's not going to disappoint and it's definitely going to be a crowd pleaser. A lot of good fruit in there. It's not going to turn anyone off. There's no off-putting like weird kind of like, funky notes. Sometimes you think organic, you get a little bit of funkiness. Not the case at all. This is really good wine, good quality. Absolutely. Well done, Ghost Block. Cheers. So let's wrap this up. If I was going to give this a point rating, I would definitely put this, into the 92 point range, heading into the 93 point range easily. And with a little age, you might even get like a 94 out of it. I'm not sure about that. I'd like to see definitely more on the finish. It's like mid-palate and up front, it's like, oof, yeah, right away. Like that's why it's getting right away 92, 93 points. But that finish, get up to that 94, 95 area, I really want something special going on and it has to linger a bit more. It does kind of fade a little too quickly for me to give it that much more of a rating. So we're gonna stick with 92.5 instead of 93 right now. Work on that finish a bit, and I think we're easily 93 and then 94 points. No problem. But definitely a banger, really good wine. I mean, absolutely run out and grab yourself a bottle of this. Try it out. Make your own decision. Get a good steak with it. I'll show you a picture of mine. It is a prime USDA New York strip that I'm very much looking forward to. So get out there and get yourself a bottle. Because as always, you know it and I know it. You're worth it, and gosh darn it, you deserve it. Cheers, everyone.